Well, welcome everyone. According to my trusty phone, it is 4 o'clock. So I'd like to call this Committee of Adjustment meeting to order. It's a beautiful sunny afternoon, so we'll see if we can go through these fairly quickly and get you on your way. So at this time, we'll be following our agenda packages. I believe everyone should have one. And we have received regrets from committee member Dennis Kiyomo. And I'll ask our secretary, was there any deferrals, withdrawals of the matter before the committee?
Madam Chair, there is no deferrals, but there's another regret from that time.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yes, thank you for reminding me.
And there's no change to the order of the hearing.
Thank you. So I'll ask our committee members, is there any declaration of pecuniary interest?
I have none. The only thing is I know one of the applicants, he's fixed a couple tractor tires for me long before he was ever into this.
Perfect. And none for me. And I may mention at this time too, that we are being video recorded. So everything will be recorded from here on. So that brings us into agenda item number 3. We have minutes from our previous meeting. If I can ask for a mover, Member Stanners, seconded by Member Sheik. So I have a recommendation that the minutes of the Township of Mapleton Committee of Adjustment hearing held on April the 13th, 2022 be confirmed as circulated in the agenda package. Was there any errors or omissions? Anything? No? Okay, I will call the question. All those in favor? All those against? The motion is carried. Which now brings us to agenda item number 4, matters arising from the minutes. Anybody have anything? None. So that brings us into today's applications. And I'd like to start off by saying that all of our hearings today shall be reviewed by the committee members. Our decisions shall be based on the information that has been provided and will follow the 4 tests. Please note that no precedent shall be set and each hearing shall stand on its own. So that moves us into our first hearing, hearing number A2022-4. And it is the location of the subject property is legally described as the west part, lot 1, concession 12, Peel, part 1, RP 60R2189, and is municipally known as 7369 Wellington Road 11. So the purpose and effect of this variance application is to provide relief from section 6.17.2, the minimum distance separation 2, the lot coverage and front yard setback. The applicant is proposing to construct a new 2-level chicken barn to replace the existing 3-story barn. The new barn does not meet the minimum distance separation, MDS 2, from the nearest type of AB land use and the setback of Wellington Road 11. Relief is also required to allow the new barn to be constructed on a property less than 10.1 hectares or 25 acres. Other variances may be considered when deemed appropriate. So at this time, I'll call upon our statement by our Secretary Treasurer, Larry Wheeler, regarding notifications and comments received to date.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Staff can confirm agencies and Mapleton staff were provided with the required notice by prepaid first-class mail on April 29th. There were no issues or concerns expressed. Agency comments are attached in the agenda package. Postings were completed April 29th. The GRCA comments received are in the agenda package. County of Wellington planner comments are in the package. And our own planner, Linda Redmond, are in the agenda package. There were no ratepayer comments received prior to the creation of the agenda. But since then, one comment was received from neighbors of the applicant, Reginald and Eva Samus, supporting the application. These comments have been distributed to the committee members. Thank you.
Yes, we all received, it was on our desk coming in. So at this time, I will call upon our township planner, Linda Redmond, for her comments, please.
Thank you, Chair. So this application recently obtained a consent or a severance to split the farm in half. So this is going on the retained farm parcel, this new house. And as part of that application, the house where they want to
Sorry.
locate,
Sorry, I think we're on,
oh, am I on Vandenberg?
yeah,
That's what we're supposed to be on.
yes, thank you.
Sorry about that. Yes, I appreciate that. Okay, Vandenberg. So this one is they're just reconstructing an existing chicken barn. They have to meet the new standards. It's now going to be 2-story, so it takes up a bit more space. They obtained a variance 4 years ago, I think 2018 or 2019 for the barn that's there, the other barn that said they have the 2 barns. So this is just taking care of the second barn. So it's essentially the same variance that was required when they rebuilt the first barn. And nothing much more to say. It's part of the issue is that across the road, there is a high density of residential uses, which then creates this type B use that they are required to maintain that setback. And as we know with type Bs, that essentially doubles the setback requirements for new livestock facilities. It's not really a new facility, it's a rebuild, but the MDS guidelines do not differentiate between that, even though the barn is there now and it's operating now. Because they have to replace it, the MDS kicks in and we have to apply the current standards. So they're just here to move forward with their second build, and we have no concerns with it.
Thank you. So I notice we do have the owner, David Vandenberg. If you would like to introduce yourself, if you have any comments to the committee members or.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I'm Dave Vandenberg, and this is the second time around.
Your assistant is very good.
I'm not as technology advanced as Tyler. Yeah, so thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. And yeah, I guess this is the second time around for us. We're really appreciative the last time that we were able to rebuild our barn. It worked out very well. Fortunately, so far we've had neighbors who have supported what we're doing. And really, we just want to keep farming. And this is one of the things with the changes, especially around animal welfare. And yeah, the poultry industry has just had a lot of significant changes in the past, and we're just trying to adapt to it and be able to meet those obligations and continue to farm and make a living at the property that we have right now.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Now, I do notice also that we do have attendance from the letter that was written in, whether or not anyone else in the room would like to speak to this proposal. Please state your name and your address, and if you have any comments or concerns. No. Okay. So we'll go to the committee members. I'll start with Member Sheik. If you have any comments or questions for the planner or the applicant.
Through you, Chair, I do have a question. So I was just looking at the MDS calculation form, and I'm not too up on broilers or poultry. So the manure storage for this barn, is it within the barn or is it outside the barn, or can you enlighten me on that?
Yes, most certainly. So the storage is in the barn when the birds are in the barn. And then as soon as we ship our birds, so we have no more livestock in the barn, then we actually, all the manure is sent off site. So that's the way the nutrient management strategy is set up. So none remains. So yeah, it's either inside or it's off the property.
Thank you. That was the one question I had, because I noticed it wasn't required as a setback, and I was just wondering about that. So that's good. And that's all the questions I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Sheik. Member Stanners, do you have any questions?
No, I have no questions with this one, just a comment that this isn't the only barn that is having to face this rebuilding completely. There's, I know the odd one 3-4 barn is round, and they actually bring machinery up onto that floor now. It's less disturbing for the workmen and for the employees that are working in there emptying barns out. And I think this is it's just a thing that has to be done, right? And adding the barn, it's 21 feet or something, adding in width, it blends right in. Like there's been poultry on that farm as long as I can remember at least. And I have no problem at all with this whatsoever. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, and I believe I was on the Committee of Adjustment the first time around too. So as you know, I have absolutely no problem with this one either. So at this time, I think I will ask for a mover.
Yes.
Moved by Stanner, second by Sheik. So I have before us a recommendation that the minor variance applied for in application A 2022-04 located at the West Part Lot 1, Concession 12 Peel, and municipally known as 7369 Wellington Road 11, to provide the following relief for section 6.17.2, minimum distance separation 2, Roman numerals, lot location, coverage, and front yard setback, the Mapleton zoning bylaw 2010-080 as proposed. So the MDS2 setback to type B use at 84 meters or 276 feet. MDS2 setbacks to the nearest road allowance of 12 meters or 40 feet. The MDS2 setbacks to the rear yard of 6 meters or 19.6 feet. The minimum lot area for an agricultural use of 1.73 hectares or 4.28 acres. The minimum front yard setback for livestock buildings for 11.6 meters or 38 feet. And the minimum setback to the NE zone border boundary of 0 meters or 0 feet. So any other questions or concerns before I call the question? Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? This motion is carried. So let it be known that we, the members of the Committee of Adjustment, believe that the 4 tests have been considered. The variance is minor in nature. The variance requested is desirable for the appropriate development or use of the lands, buildings, or structure. The variance maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan. The variance maintains the general purpose and intent of the zoning bylaw. So that concludes this hearing for A 2022-4, and it is now concluded. So thank you for attending. Feel free to stay for the next hearing, or you may go. It's up to you. It's beautiful outside. So that brings us into our second hearing for today. And that is hearing number A 2022-05. The location of the subject property is legally described as Part Lot 15, Concession 6, Peel, and is municipally known as 7422 6th Line. The purpose and effect of the variance application is to provide relief from section 6.17.1, minimum distance separation 1, from the adjacent livestock facility and manure storage location of the retained lands. The applicants are proposing to conduct a new residential dwelling which does not meet the MDS 1 setbacks of 329 meters and is asking for a reduction of 160 meters for the barn and 190 meters for the manure storage, respectively. Other variances may be considered where deemed appropriate. So at this time, I will call upon our statement provided by our Secretary Treasurer, Larry Wheeler, regarding notifications, comments received to date.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Staff can confirm the following. Agencies and Mapleton staff were provided with the required notice by first-class mail on April 29th. There were no issues or concerns expressed by Mapleton staff. Agency comments are attached to the agenda package. Postings were completed April 29th. GRCA comments have been received that are in the agenda package. County of Wellington Planner Jessica Rahim's comments are received and in the agenda package. Planning report by our own Mapleton planner Linda Redmond have been received that are in the agenda package. There were no ratepayer comments received prior to the creation of the agenda. However, one comment has been received and submitted by a neighbor of the applicant, Amzie Martin. He was supporting the application. It has been distributed to committee members. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, I believe all committee members received that letter. Okay. So at this time, I will call upon our township planner, Linda Redmond, to give her comments.
Okay, let's do this again. So, as I was saying, this recently went through a severance where they split the farm in half. This is the retained lands that are vacant. And where they're proposing to put the house, it doesn't meet the MDS setbacks to the barn that is located on the severed parcel. So the same owner. In order, as you can see by the yellow MDS arc on the aerial mapping, in order to satisfy the MDS requirements from that barn, they would have to place that house outside of that arc. So therefore, quite a ways back on the land, which would require a big laneway and, you know, whatever else. So, I mean, it makes sense to put the house here. It's adjacent to existing, a few existing lots. You're not, you know, taking up farmland that's currently under crop. So I have no concerns with the location of the house. I just want to perhaps note to the landowner, and I'm sure well aware of this, but to locate a barn with this house, there's going to be MDS issues for that. So I'm not sure if that's the future intent to put a barn up, but there's already some it's already compromised by the existing dwellings that are in the area anyways. So you will probably need MDS relief if you want to put a barn there, unless you're going to put it way back. All the other barns that are within 500 meters were evaluated and there's no MDS concerns from those. It was just the barn on the retained lands. And we have no concerns with it.
Thank you. And I do notice that the owner, Mr. Gingrich, is here. Do you have any comments or would you like to say anything to the committee, or it's all in your package? Okay. And there's no one else attending, so that'll move into our committee members. This time I'll start with committee member Standers for your comments or questions you may have.
I have no problem with this one whatsoever. I heard about this kind of happening a year ago, whatever. And I looked up one of the old maps and that where those couple houses are, there used to be a handful of lots there, which was a village or a hamlet of Winfield. And I think basically what he's doing is just helping to infill that little bit of a hamlet. When you look at that old map, the existing farm buildings were there way back then also on this map. Part of the historical, I guess that's what I come across, but I see no other place that you could really build on it without, as they say, going way back. There is a side road between there, but it's not a maintained road. It is mud, to say the least. And I'm right today, it's nothing but dust. And so I think it's the best place for him to put it, right? I don't know what his long-term plan is after that, but I appreciate Linda's comment that he might have an issue down the road if there was to build the barn, but that's another day as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
No problem at all. on my house.
Member Sheik?
Thank you, Chair. I have no further questions. I'm fine with that.
Thank you. And yes, I too have no questions. Everything was in the agenda package. So perhaps if I can have a mover, Member Sheik first. Seconded by Member Sanders. So I do have a recommendation that the minor variance applied for in application A 2022-5 located at part lot 15, concession 6 Peel, municipally known as 7422 6th line, to provide the following relief from section 6.17.1 minimum distance separation 1 to the adjacent livestock facility and manure storage as proposed. Under the MDS 1 setback to the livestock facility, 160 meters or 524 feet. MDS 1 setback to the manure storage, 190 meters or 623 feet. Any other further clarifications required? I will call the question. All those in favor? All those against? This motion is carried. So again, we, the members of the Committee of Adjustment, feel that the 4 tests have been considered. The variants are as minor in nature. The variance requested is desirable for the appropriate development or use of lands, building, or structure. The variance maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan. The variance maintains the general purpose and intent of the zoning bylaw. So this concludes our hearing for minor variance A 2022-05. Thank you for attending. So that moves us in our agenda package to number 6, just our general business. We have circulation, I believe we've assigned. So we have updates, upcoming hearings, June the 15th, July 13th, and August 10th for in our books, and we can do the signing of the hearings at this time.
Yep, there is.
Definitely, good,
Yes, I think there's 2 so far.
perfect.
Well, sorry, there's one officially and there's one coming. We haven't gotten it
Okay.
yet, but it's coming. Right? TriMet is coming?
We have 2.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt. Yes, it'll be glad on Friday night.
We're just signing and then I'll conclude the meeting.
Oh, I'll just.
Well, there we go. So at this time, I'll conclude the Committee of Adjustment meeting. Then you can stop.